It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, 26th of April 2019, 8:02 AM CET. Piotr here. This is the pre-London live market coverage on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. Let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading FX, cryptos on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain as of some or all your initial investments. So please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. All right. Where we are. Our next meeting is on Monday morning, 8 AM CET, and that's gonna be the last one ahead of my short holiday. More details I will provide on Monday. Okay. Next, it might be very interesting day today, because not only because of US GDP, but also end of the month related flow. Also, especially euro dollar, because of the parliamentary election in Spain on Sunday. So the flow we are going to see right after the GDP announcement, everything there could be from different perspective, right? So be careful today around the GDP announcement. I'm going to explain my strategy for this particular event. Also, it's not only me going for holiday. We are going to have 10 days market closure in Japan, right? So for the next 10 days, starts Monday. Be careful out there if you are trading Tokyo session, if you are trading Asian hours, right? There is a huge possibility we are going to have very low volume, low liquidity, so there is a space for manipulation and a bit higher volatility. All right. Okay. What's on the agenda today? During the Tokyo session, Tokyo core CPI 1.3 versus 1.1 expected. Better, right? And we know what happened yesterday with Japanese yen was stronger over the course of the day. Retail sales also better than what market was expecting at 1%. Also, the previous reading was revised higher. Primary industrial production a little bit worse, the same as unemployment rate. What is going to happen during the European session? The truth is that we are waiting only for Swiss National Bank Chairman Jordan. So it's worth to watch Swiss franc around 10 AM CET, meaning within the next 2 hours. And of course, afternoon hours, New York session, 2:30, GDP, and some big names after yesterday durable good orders news. Some big names raised the GDP expectations. For example, Goldman, right, from 2.4 to 2.6, and Citi is sitting at 2.7. Overall, based on the Forex factory calendar, market expectations are lower, 2.2. So yeah, it might be surprise to the upside, but you know, already expectations are very high, so be careful. And within the next few minutes we are going to discuss the specific strategy I'm going to have for that particular event. Okay, as I mentioned also, be careful trying to stay with euro positions, whatever long or short, over the weekend, as we do have parliamentary election in Spain, and that could be, theoretically, that could be the market mover on Sunday and Monday. Okay, so that's how the things looks like for today. From the option market perspective, euro dollar at 11 we have almost billion, 1160, 1.2 billion, right? So there is a 60 pips space, and probably it might work as a magnet for or ahead of GDP, and then ahead of 10 a.m. New York. I'm talking about the option expiration, right? Nothing extraordinary on dollar yen, 112, 500 million. Only USD CAD at 134, 1.2 billion. We are trading 34.80, right? Comfortably sitting above resistance. So yeah, hard to say, but looks like 134 is far away for now. Chinese stock red again. That's the warning sign, I would say. So slowly we can try to jump and the Nikkei closes lower by 0.22 actually. So there are some negative signs, right, ahead of the really long weekend for some, because it's not only Japan. Here in Europe, some countries, long weekend as well. Maybe not 10 days, but still around the whole week. So really, there is a possibility we are going to have a poor liquidity. So there is plenty of space for manipulation. Okay, so be careful. There were also fireworks on the crypto side. Hopefully you are going to have some time, but if not, here is the link to Wall Street Journal article. It might be gated, so I'm sorry. It might be gated. Really sorry about that. It's Tether related, so we are talking about some 800 million missing funds. So Tether again. But it was, from the chart perspective, a quick retest of 4,950 we discussed yesterday, with strong rejection, some kind of the V formation. But again, we are approaching this period of time where the liquidity is going to be poor. I would say it might be some kind of the manipulation because Bitcoin rose too high. Some guys might not be happy, central bankers as well. So if we are going to have a minute, we will have a look where we are from that perspective. Let's start and let's check what is going on from the dollar index perspective, DXY, on a higher time frame as we are approaching the end of the week, end of the month. Give me a second, please. There you go. We know from the monthly chart, and this is the red rectangle over here, right? From the monthly chart, that's the possible supply right under 100. But based on the weekly chart, right, we are approaching this zone, but I do expect some bumps on the road here, all right? Same we seen late 2018, right? Then there was a pullback. Now we have some kind of the channel and we are testing top of that channel. And that's what I've been talking about. And I do expect, all right, let me explain my GDP expectations, the price action based on the GDP. It's a little bit contrary to what we have here. Okay, so we know that exact touches are not gonna work correctly. So I do expect a little bit higher levels into the GDP, all right? And now, even if we are gonna to get, it has to be monster for this dollar move to sustain, all right, over the weekend. It has to be monster number. It has to beat Goldman and Citi expectations. Otherwise, we may face profit taking ahead of the weekend, ahead of the end of the month. There is a T+2 today, so be extremely careful, especially around London fixing, all right? So my expectations, so let's switch lower. We know where we are from higher time frame. That's what we don't need anymore. Okay. Let's switch lower. So it might be that it's already started, but again, exact touches are usually working as a magnet. So I do expect around the GDP announcement, and I do expect that we are gonna to get maybe not monster but good number. So we might see stop count on the dollar index, right? And what I'm gonna to watch, what I'm gonna to wait for, and it's pure intraday only. You don't want to stay, if you are gonna to test it, you don't wanna stay with, if the position is against you, you don't wanna stay over the weekend. And you are testing this only on demo account or as a paper trading. So it's gonna be easier to liquidate, right? So it's pure intraday news event approach. So I wanna see better number, I wanna see stop count, right? Then a little bit of the pullback, another move higher with rejection. And once we are gonna to get back below the first stop count, that's my short dollar intraday approach. I'm sitting also from the medium term perspective. I'm sitting also long euro dollar for now, but that's based on the weekly, and we are going to discuss in a second. So that's my strategy for today from the intraday perspective. I'm looking to fade dollar rally, and I'm not going to stay with this approach, with this particular trade. My stop is gonna be very tight, because if I'm gonna to see this action like this, my stop is gonna be right above the high. right? But if I'm gonna be in the market, doesn't matter if it's gonna be +5, +20 or -2, I'm gonna to liquidate this particular trade ahead of the weekend, right? Cool. So that's dollar index. Let's check yields and we will switch to majors. So 2 years, still strange thing is going on. So there is a possibility we are going to see more buyers, higher prices, lower yields, but the key is 230, right? So we have some kind of the possible liquidity pool here. We might see stop counting and then eventually higher yields, right? And the strange price action we've seen, we were discussing it over the course of this week, right? Strong stock, strong dollar, without the support from the yield side, compared to what we've seen on the stocks and dollar, right? Because yeah, it's still on the 2 years, it's still 230, let's say. So 230 is a key level here. All right. Let's switch to daily, and that's how it looks. All right. So if 230 give up, then we may try the lows towards 225 to 20, and that's probably, that might be dollar negative. 10 years, was on the rise yesterday after good, durable good orders, but what I'm afraid of is that it was good from the yield perspective few days earlier when we took out this supply, right? What happened lately this week is this breakdown, right? I don't like this breakdown. So I think that the yesterday move, it was nothing else like reaction, okay, into the possible demand, small rally, but because of the size of that rally, it was smaller than, it was even not half of what we've seen day before, the size. So I'm going to watch carefully yesterday low and Wednesday low for possible breakdown here on tens, meaning that price probably we are going to see higher prices. All right, and we are talking about 250, which might be under pressure. All right, so that's how I see the things on the dollar index and the yields. So let's get back to the platform. And there we go. Euro dollar. Let's have a look where we are from the weekly perspective and why I'm from the medium term perspective a little bit bullish here. I do expect some actually maybe not, I'm not expecting a huge rally. I'm not expecting that's, I don't know, we are going to see that it's gonna be turning point. It might be attempt to break lower, but based on the price action from the week ending end of the May, beginning of June 2017, right? And then, based on what we've seen late October 2016, right? Plus those shadows over here, I do expect some kind of the bounce. And now depends on the bounce. If bulls are going to manage to close above 1170.12, that really might be huge development from that perspective. All right, from the euro dollar perspective, that might be huge development. We need a higher close. So taking into the consideration the line here connected by the lows, another lower shadow with the lower low, but this shadow then if we are going to get the higher close, right, we might consider this lower shadow as a stop hand only, and we might see attempt to go a little bit higher from here, right? So it's all about the close today, in my opinion. All right, so let's have a look what we have from the daily perspective. The problem is we are trying to fight with the Wednesday low, all right, and we need to close what I've mentioned above 70. Would be great to close above 12, and I'm talking about Tuesday low, right, to try to get back above 90, right, this shadow over there. So yeah, a lot of work, but it might be that the dollar bulls will help here a bit eventually if they are going to decide to take the profit. Okay, so all about the close, and I would say that if positive, my expectations are gonna be that we are gonna to see retest of 1350, top of that channel, and then we might see lower levels, right? But because where we are on the weekly right now, and we haven't seen these levels for quite some time, I do expect some profit taking ahead of the weekend, but I might be wrong. How does it look from the intraday perspective? So there was a lower low compared to what we've seen day before, all right, with a little bit of the profit taking, and end of the day near the lows. Okay, what I see here is the possibility, because there was an attempt during the Tokyo session to take the late New York lows. We took this out, so it might be that we've done with stop hunt, but I wouldn't be surprised to see attempt to hunt for more below the Tokyo low, and then the rally into the end of the day. That's what we were discussing, right? And the challenge is going to be the base from Wednesday before the breakdown, right? So this kind of the base around 1190.12, right? So this is the challenge. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that it's quite important from the bull's perspective to try to close above 12, right? So, but it's still possible we are going to see the higher levels based on yesterday price action. If we agree that was the consolidation, if we try to double it, so that's the possibility to move higher, right? So that's how I see the things. That's how I see the things from the euro dollar perspective. Pound, here I'm more negative. There is a possibility for a little bit more bounce, because if we are gonna to take into the that's possible demand, we discussed it, that's possible demand, but if we are gonna to take the upper shadow into the consideration, I'm talking about the high from the Happy Valentine Days from the 14th of February. Happy Valentine Day. So if we are going to take into the consideration upper shadow, so we tested this demand yesterday, right? And we saw a little bit of the profit taking. And now there is a possibility chance that we may try to create a swing low, right? So Wednesday high, there is a nice intraday supply over there as well as possible target. Some may try to look for inverted head and shoulders here as well. But overall, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I'm a little bit more positive towards euro than pound, right? But bounce here, possible. What to expect? The breakdown level, breakdown zone 2970, 130 has not been, this zone hasn't been tested yet. So I would say that we might see stop count above Wednesday high towards weekly open. I'm not saying today, maybe as early as next week, and then eventually continuation of the pound sell-off. Dollar yen into the week, into the end of the week, into the end of the month, week. What I'm talking about, it's of course we still got a few more hours for a weekly close, but the failure here based on this supply to the left side, it's saying a lot, right? We need to close above 12.15, 12.25 to have possibility to retest 14.50.15, all right? Now this upper shadow, if we are gonna to get lower close, attempt to go higher next week, creation of the swing high and lower, right? But be careful because of this long Japanese holiday, right? I wouldn't try to front run the yen, meaning that I don't want to chase the market. I don't want to be first. I prefer to jump in after some kind of confirmation, maybe after the long holiday, even if we are talking about the lower levels in case of the short, right? Let's not try to make the front run. All right, on a daily, engulf, Tokyo retested weekly open, engulf supply. Where is possible demand? 11.30, 11.25. So we might see run through yesterday low, but be careful, the range from the 10th of April as a possible demand here, right? So be careful out there. We might see stop hand and we might see even rally after that, all right? Okay, I missed that one. Oil, I've been looking to try to short that beast, but I've expected higher prices yesterday. When I saw this swing high creation, I knew it that I'm gonna to miss that one, but I didn't want to chase that here, right? So yeah, I knew that I'm gonna miss that, I missed that. But if we are gonna to see retest of this broken bottom of the previous range, right, here is the possible supply. So I may try to join the short side after the rally, if seen, all right? And the target is around, first target is around 64. But again, you don't want to stay over the weekend with oil. Nasdaq. 2 days ago, great Facebook, great Microsoft, post-market rally, stop count around the open, and Niagara Falls, boom, and again, boom. Something is going on. I would be careful, but we had But we had outside day. Wow. So 7,800 as a key level for today. All right. It might be some kind of, let's call it head and shoulder. We don't want to see the close above the line, right? So attempt to rally here probably as a selling opportunity. But not earlier than after cash open. So GDP, we might see spike because of the better number, and that spike might be used to try to sell into, right? So again, not front run. And let's switch to the crypto. There you go. So huge sell-off based on the Wall Street Journal article. Tether related, right? It's about the Bitfinex. And there is looks like Bitfinex was trying to use the Tether reserves to mask missing 850 million. So now we got the chance to see how Bitcoin really, the latest rally, strong rally, so how strong Bitcoin is. If because of this news, because it's negative news, if we are going to close below 4,900, we might see sell-off towards 4,400, 4,200. Even we may see retest of the yearly open around 3,900, depends on the platform, right? So I would say, I'm not saying it's not true, but the timing is a key here, right? Ahead of the monthly close after strong rally during the Tokio session. Someone doesn't like this Bitcoin high price, right? Central bankers, some politicians probably. Of course, I don't want to create the, unconfirmed stories. So let's leave it as it is. We've seen retest of the broken 4,950, 5,000 after this huge Niagara fall with strong rejection, right? So there was some kind of the V formation. What we need from the bull's perspective, we need to hold this 4,950. We discussed a few times, and it was held over here, right? That's the top of the possible demand based on the monthly, and especially that's why I'm a little bit skeptical about this story, because it's right ahead of the end of the month, where for bulls the top from the September 2017, the whole month range here as a demand, but the top is key, and we broke through that level, and on a daily it's been tested 2 or 3 times, holds, right? So that's why I'm a little bit suspicious about that news, but anyway. It's a good sign that we are holding above right now, but let's see what weekend and end of the month brings, all right? I would be from the intraday perspective, I would be very careful here. All right, guys, that's it from me today. We've got meeting on Monday at 8 a.m. Then I'm going for holiday. So, first 10 days of May, I'm gonna be off. More details I'm going to provide on Monday. Be careful. Again, US GDP, end of the month flow, option expiration, possible profit taking, Spanish Parliamentary Election on Sunday. Japan is on a very long break. Lower liquidity, possible higher volatility, possible manipulation. Have a great weekend, guys. Ladies and gents, it was my pleasure. See you again on Monday. Take care, goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.